unmute. All right. And welcome to another episode of BasketBros, where we cover the greatest of throwback basketball. We typically go from 2000s on back. Sometimes we may dabble into the 2010s, only if we're trying to bridge a point from then and now. But we got an extra show for you guys. I'm your moderator, Denzel Snipes. And let's get the crew in here. Starting off from Livonia, Michigan, the suburb of Detroit, the mean streets. He's back. Give it up for Detroit Dom. Come on in here.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on, dude? How's it going?
Not much. Good to be back. Sorry I missed last week, but like I said, hanging out with my kid.
Oh, okay. Hey, family comes first,
excited.
man.
I got a page and a half of show prep notes.
Oh, shoot. Oh, it's on tonight. And coming in from the other C-town, Charlotte, North Carolina. Get in here, DJ Willie V, Will Vogel.
I'm actually not in Charlotte tonight.
Oh, where are you located at?
I'm actually in Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay, a little further on the northeast.
I'm on vacation. I'm on a little vacation.
All right. Hey, vacation's always great. Always got to recharge, man. And finally, the fourth basket bro. He also is your pundit's pundit, your favorite pundit's pundit, your mom's favorite pundit, and your cousin's mom's favorite pundit. Give it up for Jacob Christner. Get on in here.
I was wondering about your hotel look, Will.
Oh, we're not in a hotel. We're at my mom's friend's house. They're just out and about.
So Airbnb. No.
Basically,
even better.
But we're going to Boston on Wednesday. We're going to Boston on Wednesday, and then I fly home Thursday.
Love your Montreal hat, Dom.
Is that a Montreal Expos? Yes, it is.
It's just black and red. I have a couple other ones, but that white crown just kills me.
You should send me one. I need one.
That's excellent. So, crazy for a team that Montreal never made the playoffs in their history, didn't they? Before the move.
In 94.
They were in first place by a wide margin. 94. The strike here. Jacob I was so excited too.
Yeah. That's a team that needs to come back.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I wonder
if the Rays.
There's a whole long messy story of why there's still not a team in Montreal, much like why there's not a hockey team back in Quebec.
In Quebec, yeah.
Well, no, move the Marlins.
Why? They've won 2 World Series.
Yeah, understood, and I understand that type of thing. But who the hell is going there if they don't get anywhere? No one's going to the games.
True.
Yep, that is true. Well, let's swing on to our first topic, and this is our BasketBros legend, and that is the logo himself, Jerry West. Now, you talk about a man who some would call a Pantheon great, and we really wouldn't be mad at their opinion about it. But some quick highlights. So he's an NBA champion in 1972, Finals MVP. Also, he's a 14-time NBA All-Star, an NBA All-Star Game Most Valuable Player in 1972, 10-time All-NBA First Team, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, 4-time NBA All-Defensive First Team, NBA All-Defensive Second Team in 1969. He won a scoring title in 1970, the assist title in 1972. He's on the anniversary team for 35th, 50th, and 75th, and as a foregone conclusion, he'll make the 100th. Number 44, retired by the Los Angeles Lakers. Also in college, he was the NCAA, and he went to West Virginia.
West Virginia, yep.
And let's see, he was Final Four.
Virginia, as they say.
He was a Final Four Most Outstanding Player in 1959, 2-time consensus First-Team All-American, 3rd-Team All-American, 2-time SoCon Player of the Year, number 44 retired by the West Virginia Mountaineers, and he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2019. Get this, as an executive, 8-time NBA champion, also a 2-time NBA Executive of the Year in 95 and 04. So his career averages was 27.0 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, and 6.7 assists per game. Of course, he's in the Hall of Fame both at college and as a pro. So, Dom, your thoughts on the logo, Jerry West?
It's funny because when I started doing my research, and I think we've talked about this before, it's one of my favorite things about Basketball Reference in particular, because obviously the first nickname you see is the logo. I also, and I've never heard this before. Granted, I'm not a Jerry West fan, but Zeke from Cabin Creek Comet, Tweety, and Tweety Bird. Never heard any of those in my life. But if you see all the ridiculous ones they have for like LeBron, you'd understand. And they've got most of Shaq's, including the ones he gave himself, like Big Aristotle. Yeah. But anyways, an all-time great, an all-star, 14 years out of 14. His level in play really never dipped off very much. I mean, the last, let's see, he played 14 years. In his 9th year, he averaged 31 a game, which was a scoring title. Even in his final season at 35, he was still over 20 a game. And like you said, at both a scoring and an assist champ, there's only been 7 guys to ever do that. One was the Big O. One was Tiny Archibald. Regrettably, the next 2 on the list make me sick. Russell Westbrook and James Harden. The other 2, and I did not know this, Wilt Chamberlain once led the NBA in assists.
I knew that.
And then you've got LeBron. But yeah, I mean, he's the logo. He's a great player. He was an equally great executive, which is very rare. Very rare. I can't even think of who the next best, combined career as far as player and then executive. Like, I don't think there's anyone else.
No. Hey,
please don't say Larry Bird.
Hey, yeah, no comparison as far as West, but the closest is Bird.
I was going to say he's the only one that even remotely comes to mind.
And he didn't win a title with anything.
We ain't going to say Jordan, if that's what they're looking for. We ain't going to say Mike.
Yeah, right.
No.
He's the worst example besides maybe Isaiah Thomas. But who's worse? No. MJ as an owner / GM or Isaiah as a GM?
No. Mike. That's not even close.
Mike is the Harden of GMs and presidents.
I wouldn't even say Harden.
Maybe you forget how bad Zeke was and how many years he set the Knicks back by either drafting and or acquiring every guy that he thought could be him, and they weren't. Stephon Marbury, Steve Francis.
No. Better yet, excuse me, I shouldn't say Harden because he's had a hell of a regular season career. Playoff Harden of the executives.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, he'd be less like Harden and more like, I don't know, Devin George. But
I just meant playoff Harden.
Yeah. But Bob, continue on about Jerry West, Dom.
That's all I got.
Oh, okay. Will?
So yeah, he is the NBA logo. Funny thing about him winning the Finals MVP was it was in a losing effort.
Yes.
What?
Yes, it was.
They lost.
He won Finals. He won Finals Most Valuable Player in. What? He won Finals Most Valuable Player in 1969.
On a losing team.
I hope they at least lost in 7 games.
Yeah, it was. It was Boston.
It was I think it was when Boston won. How many was it? 8?
That's got to be the only time in NBA history. I hope, right?
Yeah.
That's despicable.
Yeah, sounds right. And then, yes, you said he was the executive for the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Warriors, and the Clippers, and like you said, he's the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I have a question for all of you. Let's make this real quick, and then we'll let Jacob go. And let's. Does the NBA eventually change its logo?
They will, but I can see it probably 5 years from now, because there was talk about making Kobe the logo right after he had passed.
Who would you do?
It'd be Bryant. Bryant
I think
Jordan.
so too.
Me, it's Bird and Magic together.
As friendship, I can see it.
Bird
That'd be
and
cool.
Magic together, like either fighting for a rebound or the little fist bump you see.
What about Kareem?
Possibility.
I have another one, but it's way off. But we'll get to it in a later topic.
Was it Westbrook?
No.
How
are they going to articulate that many flailing limbs? And how are they going to equate that to basketball? They'd be like, is this guy playing basketball or having a seizure?
Jacob, go right ahead. I'm done with mine.
Well, put it to you this way about West. We can know the stats. There's a video that I've seen on YouTube that talks about his he was at a basketball camp. You might have all seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It will. He is at a basketball camp, and he starts shooting one-handed, like from 3 feet. And he
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, and it goes just like around the rim one time, like, and it goes through. The rest of the time, swish, swish, goes back 6-7 feet, swish, swish, goes to the free throw line, one-handed, swish, swish. He went finally to the final one to the 3-point line, swish. He was 75 years old.
That's nuts.
He was like 75 years old, and he says, "I haven't shot a ball because he had shoulder surgery. I haven't shot a ball in 2 years." That is telling you about him. You got to realize this. We're talking 14 seasons here, 25,000 points, and he never played 82 games.
That's nuts, right there.
Yeah, and
correct.
27 points a game means he took off at least a few games a year every year. He's got an assist title. He's got an assist title in a time when mind you, he wasn't overall the way, like I said, Bird was the first world 6'10" guy to do that. But he was still getting stats. Got one assist title, and yes, I know about Wilt's assist title too. He did that to prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about the biggest thing about Jerry West, you got to realize this part here. 10 rings. We're talking executive and player. 10 rings, and get this part, 17 finals.
My God.
You know what bums me out? They
What's
didn't
that?
keep track of turnovers back then. I would like to know what his assist to turnover ratio was.
Yeah, it would have ended something else, yeah. But no, we're looking at these things, and it's like when you look at Jerry West, even that half-court shot or that three-quarter shot that we see that went into overtime back in that day, remember?
The game winner.
Yeah, even that sucker was smooth. Everything he did was just smooth. I'm surprised he didn't play 20 seasons, and I'm surprised he didn't play 82 games because his body movements were smooth.
Yeah.
They were smooth. Even flow. I mean, there were people that just like flailed on the ground. He looked like water.
Him and Gail Goodrich were a great duo.
I just did the math, actually. He only averaged like 66 games a year.
Wow.
And that's 27 points a game. That's 25,000 points not playing and missing 16 games a year.
In a non-3-point era.
Yeah. Yo, think about this. Pete Maravich, 44 points a game in college with no 3.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It would have been like 50 or 60 points per game.
Pistol Pete is a demigod, though.
I think we definitely...
Jerry West is pretty close to it, too, apparently.
Yeah.
I think Pistol
Like Bill
Pete's...
Murray said in Groundhog Day, he's like, I have it figured out. I'm a god. I'm not the god, but I'm a god.
Yeah.
I think we need to cover Pistol Pete one of these weeks for sure.
Oh, most definitely.
Definitely,
we'll cover him. But you look at Jerry West, and once again, a guy that averaged 66 games a season and 27 points per game. I mean, one could only imagine if even for 6 of those seasons, he did play all 82 games. That point per game average is gonna go up.
No. Here's the even crazier part. Imagine if he had Stockton's 82 game seasons. Stockton only had a couple seasons where he didn't play 82 games. Imagine if West did that.
So 12 out of so let's say 12 out of 14 seasons. He plays 82 for them. I'm guessing in that era, his points per game average is gonna go up from about 27 to probably 33.
And that's over 40,000 points. That's never getting beaten.
Exactly.
Well, until LeBron plays for 70 years.
Yeah, but he's going to play Drew League and intimidate a bunch of slugs.
Like if LeBron plays more than a couple more years, I'm just going to start calling him Emmitt Smith.
He's going to have more success, though.
Well, the difference is LeBron, believe it or not, is still playing at a high level. Emmett was a shell of himself when he was a Cardinal.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying LeBron's successful.
Should we jump to our next topic, Jeff?
Statistically.
Yeah, we'll go on to the next one, and that is our BasketBros What If. It's been a while since we did one. What if social media existed during the Magic Bird rivalry?
Oh, Lord.
This right here, and I'm really waiting to see what all you have to say, but especially Jacob. My personal thoughts is Jesus Christ. You see social media blow up with the most menial things. And we see it every single day. But And I mean, it's even now with LeBron Jordan and Brady and Manning. You know what I mean? But you talk about a rivalry, like the rivalry of the 1980s of like any sport, and if social media was around back then, there already was a division just off of like coast, like East Coast, Boston, West Coast, Los Angeles. Okay, there already was that division, and then
Right in
there's
the
already
middle. We ended them both.
your Pistons did, um, dude. I mean, just because I've seen how Bostonians get down on social media, and I've seen how Angelinos get down on social media.
So does LeBron.
So yeah, and so no, most definitely, I think it was. I think it will be good. Now, I don't think that because nowadays you have more players that feed into social media and respond to people and so forth and so on. So you got the Kevin Durant who likes to, go after those who chastise him or criticize him. You have LeBron that gets in there on issues and whatnot. I don't think, me personally, I think Magic would have paid little attention to it. Bird wouldn't have had a media account at all. Not one.
No, he'd get sued because he'd be punching anybody with a cell phone.
Probably.
He would have been suspended for the finals because he got caught. That would have been that bar fight in '85 would have been on camera. He'd have been suspended for the finals. There was been that, and then he would have probably punched a fan or two, and he would have probably been sued. There's that, and then imagine Magic with all them women. And just imagine the ridiculousness of the lawsuits that he would be dealing with, especially with a Me Too era that would start earlier.
Yep.
And it's like, it would be, and you're looking, I mean, you got to realize this thing about Bird. He was a dickhead.
Absolutely.
He was an absolute dick. And it was like,
part of the reason I respect him.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like he would not, Larry Bird would not own a cell phone in those days. He probably doesn't own one now. And it's like,
he's got a BlackBerry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's too.
Flip phone.
No, that's too. That's way too technological for him. He's probably
StarTech.
He's probably got a rotary phone. But no, the thing is, there would be so much. It would be there, but you got to realize Bird would have no media account. He doesn't even do social media now.
Exactly. So that back then, no, he wouldn't have done it.
No, but I'm just saying it's like he'd be sued because they would have caught him in that bar fight. He would have punched a couple of people. He probably gotten in more He probably would have gotten in more fights because people had cell phones. He would have knocked some cell phones out of their hands. He's not. Dude's not friendly unless you like leave him be and he could just say hi and control it. He's not a friendly dude. So he
looks like he's a dickhead.
Yeah, but you respect him for that
because he didn't try to play it off like he wasn't a dick. Like anyone that's out front about how they are, men at least.
Yeah. And you know what?
I respect that.
See, and you know what? If you think about it, that's probably part of the reason why people don't respect LeBron is because he's not a jerk. Jordan was, Bird was, who else? Anyone on the Pistons were.
Kobe kind of had.
Kobe was.
Yeah.
But LeBron isn't. Is that the real reason why Bron is not respected? Even though he's successful.
Bron's weird. Here's the thing. Bron's weird. I'm going to bring it this way.
LeBron's not really
I was begging that we didn't get into LeBron on this topic. Can we talk about LeBron after this?
No. Here's the thing. Bron is a weird case because in one case, he's a tremendous family man. Family man. He's never cheated on his wife. He's a great dad. In one case, he's got those. In another case, he goes completely out of his way to be an absolute prick.
He's passive aggressive and he's a beta. But he's a good guy.
Huh?
He's passive aggressive and he's a beta, but he's a good guy. Yes. Like he's a good person.
Yeah, I mean, he is a beta. There's no question. I mean, he is the biggest wimp with muscles in history of land. It's just true, physically and mentally.
So I'll just go real quick. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be the most trending thing probably in the NBA besides until Jordan gets into the league. But yeah, it would always be trending on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, other social medias. Yeah, it would be on the news every day. It would just
Bird
nonstop, 24 hours, 24/7.
I feel like
365
Magic
days.
might have like a Twitter and would chirp a little bit, but like Jacob said, and I think obviously we all know, like Larry Legend was never going to have a Twitter account. My thing is, it was different back then, so who knows what sort of different dynamics it would have brought in. But, you know, those two were bitter rivals, and I don't think they particularly liked each other. Like, Magic and Isaiah were best friends, and Isaiah would still try to punch Magic in the brain when the whistle blew.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other thing is, if you've got social media, you've got the Screamin' A's of the world and the Skip Baylesses. So I feel like they would go out of their way to try to hype up the rivalry, and there'd be other people coming out with fake tweets, just making up complete stories about Magic said this, or we overheard Bird say, you couldn't hold my jock strap in a high school game in Indiana.
Well, one big thing that you would see from Bird, we hear all of these absolutely legendary trash talk things from the other players. We would have camera of him just absolutely decimating people on the court, verbally. We would have verbal destruction from the things that he once told Robert Reed he should have gone back into preaching while hitting the three.
Another thing I respect about him, because I'm all about the dude that trash talks on the court and backs it up.
You know what I told someone? My friend actually asked me. Sorry, Jack. My friend actually asked me once. He was like, "You know how NFL players are mic'd up? What about the NBA?" I'm like, it'd be a lot of screeching of the sneakers. There would be a lot of dribbling, and a whole ton of cussing.
You can hear it if you go to a live game where there's not a lot of people, and then also during the pandemic playoffs, you could hear a lot of it.
You know who would be the biggest, one of the biggest draws in Rucker at the time if you do social media? Would be Larry Bird, the white guy with all those
Oh yeah,
and a lot of trash.
Oh
yeah. But
he probably
but everyone
overalls.
But by that time period, Bird was Bird. So he ain't just some random white guy. It's like, no. That's Larry Bird. If anybody can beat you, it's him.
Either way, though, like if a white guy steps onto the court and starts talking trash, like it's either going to be short-lived and they absolutely embarrass themselves, or he's that white guy that can actually back it up.
I can see Bird wearing overalls and just destroying everybody.
Some work boots.
Overalls and maybe some docks.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
It was, they now Magic, and I agree with Dom. I think Magic would have an account. He'd follow very few people. He might tweet every now and again, but I just don't see Bird like. Bird, to Jacob's point, well, actually to Will's point, it's just a whole lot more of what he does on the court would have been recorded, But I don't think he would have created an account just to like spit back at fans. He don't have an account now. He wouldn't have had one back then. If he don't have one right now, he damn sure would have had one as a player.
I don't even remember any of his interviews, but I bet they were all bland as hell. But he did his talking on the court, but also talked. He didn't even need to.
He said about Chuck Person once that the guy mows his lawns in the summer.
That's nuts.
He said that about Chuck Person.
I was gonna say, like you guys said, Bird doesn't need an account. All he does is talk on the court. He don't need no account.
Yeah.
The court is his social media account.
That's very fair to say.
And didn't even need to talk, but he still did because he was that good and that confident. That's what I love about him.
That tells you how dangerous, how respected or dangerous Larry is now. Notice how for the whole world that they try to cancel everybody that says something completely and utterly offensive 70 years ago. They're trying to cancel everybody. Larry Bird has said about 50 things that could probably get canceled. He said Holmes to Dominique. He has said that Chuck Person mows his lawn in the summer. No one tries him. And
wait, can I ask you something, Jacob?
No one tries him. No one tries him because he doesn't care.
Hey, Jacob.
Because he's effing Larry Bird.
Jacob, I'll ask you something real quick before we go on the next topic.
Sure.
You know how George Carlin has the something like 10 words you can't say on TV?
Yeah,
Is this
words.
the Larry Bird?
Seven.
7 words you can't say on TV? Is this the Larry Bird version of that?
Yeah. But I'm just saying though, no one goes. I'm just saying because everyone that people go after in life, whether it's comedians, politicians, anything, they are the ones that get in trouble are the ones that apologize and the ones that try to back it up. Bird wouldn't give 2 rips. They're not going to try it. He would not. It's like he would not apologize, and then everybody knows that they're not going to try it.
No, they're not. What are they going to do? Punch him?
Well, no. What are they going to do? Cancel him? Yeah, that's a nice try. He doesn't go online. He doesn't do anything. He's Larry Legend not because of the stories he tells, but what everybody else tells.
Yeah, and I mean
it was that mustache for me.
We need to start a GoFundMe for a starter jacket for.
He did that mustache, but then when he shaved it, it was like grow it back.
I mean, I would try. I mean, I could see some people trying to cancel Larry Bird, and then the Celtics front office telling all of them to screw off. He's our star.
I think most of them would be LeBron fans.
Great.
Yeah.
Most of them would be LeBron fans, even though a lot of LeBron fans, you can get them to admit that Bird was better.
Yeah, but it's like you got to realize in order for canceling to work, the other guy has to care. Bird would not care.
He wouldn't.
He probably wouldn't know he was getting canceled.
He'd be like, eh.
He'd probably be like, canceled? What's that?
Right.
What?
Because I'm still coming to practice, I'm still starting, and I'm still playing in the next game.
Oh, and I'm still going to drop 30 plus
what's
points.
That? So you say, I'm going to cancel you. It's like, okay, that's nice. I'm going to go fish now.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll see y'all at practice because once again, if I'm not practicing or playing, then I don't give a damn. Outside of that, y'all do whatever.
He was actually way better than even huge fans and knowledgeable people want to say that he is. Because I'm sorry, Kevin McHale was good. Dennis Johnson, that was all Larry Bird. Robert Parrish, get out of here. You're old.
Let's put it in this boat. It's like you got to realize the thing about. I have to keep reminding people based off the thing. There's no KD or LeBron without Larry. No 6'10" guys doing the same things he was doing without that.
No, you're right.
LeBron and KD wouldn't be doing any of that stuff without Larry starting.
True.
KD really couldn't shoot like that though, and I wouldn't put KD in that comparison.
Well, also, I would say that there's no LeBron without Magic neither, because Magic was a 6'9" distributing. Yeah, he was a 6'9" distributor.
That's the only comparison I make to LeBron for about 10 years.
Yeah, I've said that since the beginning. LeBron has said in interviews that I've always wanted to be a pass-first guy. And through his career, I've always said he's a lot closer to Magic than Jordan. Stop comparing him to Jordan.
Yep, 100%.
Right. Or even Kobe.
Yes, or even Kobe. Because Kobe and Jordan mirror. LeBron and Magic mirror. LeBron just scores a little bit more.
That up last week. I think we brought that up last week. Yeah.
I think LeBron actually has a much better finals record if he's got a prime Kareem. But he wouldn't have lasted in that era, and we all agree upon that.
Well, this is what I say about lasting in that era.
Again, too much time on LeBron.
No, here's the thing, man. He lasts in that. There's one way he lasts in that era. He doesn't last in that era if we bring the current LeBron back in that era in a time machine, because the minute he gets knocked his ass to the ground, he's going to cry. Now let's bring him from his rookie year of say 1989, the hypothetical, and bring him to that thing and have to fight and have to scratch and claw and give yourself a personality to do it. Could he? And that's a question.
He would have had to have got tougher. I mean, Michael Jordan got tougher because he was tired of being battered and bruised by by
Exactly.
Should we go to the next topic, Jeff?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's about LeBron, right?
not quite.
Wrong.
Not quite. But before we get to it, if you notice that if you look downstairs there's the download the Score No Score app on the Apple App Store or on Google Play. Dom, let them know about Score No Score. Explain to the people.
Score No Score is a lot of live in-game betting. As I always say, it's sports betting for dummies, NFL, MLB. So guess what? if you want to go on the Score No Score app, all you have to focus on or worry about is baseball, because we are in that time of the year when baseball is all there is. And again, you don't have to be knowledgeable. You can bet on almost anything. A small contribution from you, they match or beyond match the same dollar amount. Granted, it's only good in their store to bet on, but it's pretty legit. Apple Store, Google Play, it's out there. Go make some money on sports.
Yep.
Gambling.
Yep.
Even if you don't know anything about sports, gambling.
Yep, it's still fun to play. Absolutely.
If you're a woman and you think the guy has a cute butt, go bet on that. You can win. You probably do better than the person that actually studies.
Yeah, beginner's luck, right? All right,
now,
now
I get canceled. Try me.
and with that, we'll segue to our next topic, and that is players with historic games. So I came up with 3 of them from mine.
Isn't it random players, like out of the ordinary?
Wasn't it like random players with historic games?
Was it random?
Yeah,
like
like non-superstars with superstar games.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then yeah, I won't be going this time. Y'all go ahead.
I'll go real quick. I have one, if that's okay with you two.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy was not even he wasn't a superstar. He wasn't even a star. He was I don't know what you would call him.
Role player?
Role play. Yeah, exactly. A role player. Mo Williams dropped 52 points in a game in 2016, the most for a Timberwolves player until Karl Anthony Towns broke in 2018. He was 6 for 11 from 3 and 19 for 33 from the field. And the thing that shocks me the most is young KG didn't do this. Young KG didn't drop 50 plus.
KG never had a 50-point game.
I don't know if he did for Minnesota. I thought he would have had like 50, high 50s, but it was Mo Williams dropping 52. Like, role player. Come on, guys.
Where in the world's our guy? Where'd he go?
He didn't have one. He went backstage to, I don't know, be angry at himself. You want to go or you want me to go?
You can go.
I hope Jay's at least listening, because either I don't have the era wrong. Maybe it was the team, but the first one that came to my mind, I thought it was a Heat player in the 90s. I can't even remember vaguely what his name was, what his nationality was, but there was some Heat player in the 90s that went for 30-some points. Like, he made 9 out of 10 threes, and I looked.
You talking about Ronnie?
No, it wasn't Cycli. I thought maybe it was actually Rex Chapman. And I could be wrong on the team. I thought it was the Heat. It was some guy. He never did much before or since then. He just had one of those nights. But the other one that was in the back of my head, because I watched it happen, November 6th, 2019, Tony Snell had a perfect game. 9 for 9 from the floor, 6 for 6 from 3, 1 rebound, 2 assists. And I watched this whole game. I don't think he started, but as soon as he came in, he made a jumper, and it barely touched the net. And it was like the basket was the size of the ocean for him that day. Like, I think maybe one of those 9 shots even hit the rim. They were just all raining down. And I was just like, wow, why can't he do this more often? And it's killing me that I can't. I'm going to have to look after the show, but I have to find out who this was and when they did it, because it was not Rex Chapman.
So as I was having computer issues and I had to exit and come back, I actually found one. So okay.
Computer issues.
Yeah. So this one here occurred on 2 Jan 2001. Tony Delk of the Phoenix Suns, in a losing effort against the Sacramento Kings, where they lost 121 to 117. Delk put up 53 points, 6 rebounds, 20 of 27 from the field in 50 minutes. He averaged less than 10 points per game for the majority of his career. And then on this day, he decided to go nuclear. And even still, he didn't hit a single three-pointer in the process. And he never topped 27 points outside of that one. Outside of that night, he didn't top 27 points ever again. He hit 53 points and hit no 3-pointers.
He probably went to a bar maybe later that year and was like, he's like halfway. He's like, you know what? I dropped 53 on those suckers. Yeah. What did you average after that? Shut up. I didn't. This is about that game, not the rest of the season.
Right.
Who did you say, Jay?
Tony Delk, 2001. He dropped 53 against the Sacramento Kings. Also got one more, and that's Brandon Jennings of the Milwaukee Bucks. In November of 2009, he dropped 55 points. Right? Yes, I believe so. They beat Golden State 129-125. He had 55 points, 5 assists, 21 of 34 from the field, 7 of 8 from 3-point range in 41 minutes.
It was him against Curry. It was I remember that game.
Yeah, it was a great. As a matter of fact, Curry only had 14 points.
And the crazy thing is, he only lasted a few more years in the league. He went to Detroit, and then I think he went to Italy, or
I think
went
so.
Overseas somewhere.
He did go.
Hey, at least he got some good food.
Yeah, absolutely. I can attest to that one. Who do you got? Jacob.
Yeah. Number 1, Scott Wedman, 1985 Finals, Game 1 when they won 148-114. 11 for 11, 4 for 4 for 3, 26 points in 23 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Scotty Wedman, who was a great shooter, mind you. But, I mean, he was always the backup guy. That's just one of those days, And then there's one of those. Another one, now the line doesn't sound impressive, except it's Muggsy Bogues. 16 points, 16.6 rebounds, 13 assists for a 5'3" guy.
Yeah,
that's like 92, 93 year. Just like, this guy would get 4 rebounds a game at 5'3".
I wonder if Earl ever had a better career game than that.
That is good. Well, I don't think that's even a good thing. It's like, let me tell you, if you want somebody that would have been a hell of an MMA fighter, it would have been Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah.
The little powerful legs, and he just had lower center of gravity. He was just an athlete.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you, since you were going to do stars, I'm going to give you a star one. I'm going to give you 2 with Michael Jordan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 69 points against Cleveland, 1990, but guess what? 18 rebounds with it.
Yep.
And then against the, I believe, I'm trying to believe either the Knicks or the Cavs. 57 points, 10 assists.
Yeah.
57 points. No, it was against the Bullets. 57 points, 10 assists. And I'm like, the thing about it is, it's one thing with,
Oh, I was going to mention a third one, and it's probably his most famous game, and that was the Eastern Conference first round game, too, when he scored 63 on Bird and Company. Now, everybody remembers that game, but remember these stats also. He played 53 minutes and only had 4 turnovers and 0 3-points attempted or made.
Yep. And here's the thing about Jordan, what gets me so crazy about those games I brought up. Not only is he scoring at that level, but one of those games, nearly 20 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly 20 rebounds. And then another one, he only had 2 rebounds in that game, but 10 assists. It's like, this is telling you, you're having 57 points, and you're still distributing the damn ball.
Right.
So I want to
something Kobe never did. I thought of one other one. It wasn't a game, but more a run of games. I'm surprised you didn't mention it, Jake. I thought it was Houston, but it was actually New York.
Yeah, it was.
It was February, pretty much just the month of February for Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the birth of Linsanity. Go ahead, Will.
And the only one.
So I wanted to bring up this last one. Andre Miller dropped 52 against the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
And he was 22 for 31 from the field. And the crazy thing is he appeared in all 82 games for the Blazers that year. And he was only averaging 14 points and 5.4 assists per game.
Andre Miller is a very underrated point guard.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing that killed him was the injuries.
Hey, busted up knee Derrick Rose with Minnesota, 50 points.
Yeah, I remember watching the post-game interview. He cried, and I got a little misty-eyed.
Yeah.
I love Derrick Rose.
See, to me, I'm saying this.
I pray to God he makes the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No.
Because as it stands right now, he's the only MVP ever that's probably on the outside looking in.
Well, and the thing about Derrick Rose is, to me, this needs to be the perfect time with this offseason for the Bulls to allow him a proper goodbye.
Oh, my gosh.
Get him,
and I missed the show last week. He should have been the one. Guys that changed their game.
Yeah. Yeah. But
he literally went in he literally went in a gym and created an NBA jumper.
We mentioned him, yeah.
But no, give him a goodbye. Let him be the veteran presence that the Bulls desperately need, and they desperately need a veteran presence to get up there. Let him be the veteran presence. Let him be the leader, even if he's not playing a ton. Let him be the thing with the bench, and let him say goodbye. Let him say goodbye in Chicago, like he should have.
Chicago could have done some things last year without those injuries.
Yeah, and Derrick Rose. Here's the thing: Derrick Rose would be, and not to say he'd be the Derrick Rose like he was when he was in the league or started the league. In the league, he wouldn't be that, but he has so many years and so much things to teach these kids, and he never got a chance to say goodbye to Chicago.
Loved him as a Piston.
Yeah, absolutely. I got one more before we move on, and this actually is worth mentioning because it goes into mathematics of efficiency. So there was a 53-point game from Willie Burton on December 13th, 1994. Huh?
Willie Burton!
Yes, Willie Burton. So check this out. He has I think he was a Sixer at this time period. But he has only one other game over 30. It trails only Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game as arguably the most efficient single-season scoring performance of all time. So they did some kind of math behind this. So check this out. And it says if you divide a player's points by his shot attempts for that game, then divide the number of points scored in the NBA that season by the number of shots attempted to get the league average. Ideally, we use the average allowed by the player's opponent, but that data is not available for many games that took place before the ABA-NBA merger. This is via Bleacher Report. Then subtract the league average points per shot from the player's points per shot. Multiply that answer by the number of attempts the player took in that game. All told, after applying that formula, Wilt Chamberlain had 30.55 points over average in his 100-point game. Burton's was 29.36.
Wow.
I might be reading this same article. With the exception of still active Toronto Raptors forward Terrence Ross, no 50-point scorer has fewer points. You know what the really sad thing is for me not being able to remember that? Give you one guess where Willie Burton's from.
Detroit.
Detroit.
Yes,
he is.
Montreal.
Unless it was Montreal.
Right. All right, and so we're going to segue into the next topic, and that is favorite players that wasn't superstar level. I had two in particular. The first one that I'm going to bring up is Vernon Maxwell for the Houston Rockets. He was one of my favorite players at the time period, someone who could hit the three ball, aside from Kenny Smith and Sam Cassell on that squad and a few others. But also, one key thing about Vernon Maxwell, he is, and we've all referenced and know about the Klay Thompson game, 37 points in a quarter. Vernon Maxwell joins him on that list as one of only 9 people to have a 30-point quarter in the history of the NBA. That was en route to a 51-point performance. And then the second one on my list was John Starks. I had always been a bit of a John Starks fan. I thought he was I thought his play was intense. Almost like Derrick Rose before Derrick Rose, you know, the way he drove to the rim, the way he dunked, the way he was, I mean, he did average 12.9 points per game, but mind you, the offense was centered around Patrick Ewing. So in today's game, I think somebody like Starks would average more, but when you got it was still a center's league at the time period, you know, and when the offense is centered around Ewing, of course, you know, you're going to find yourself dishing it to him. He was an all-star in 1994, and of course, he won the conference in 1994. But Dom, who you got?
I actually have 2 and now maybe 3. Like, you jogged my memory on someone, but I already forgot who it was. My 2 are obviously Spencer Dinwiddie, the mayor. Just completely, and he's on that borderline level of star Like the Nets, the first year they had Kyrie and he was starting, their record was better without Kyrie than with him. Then he went to Washington, and never heard this in my life before or since, but Bradley Beal couldn't get along with him. He goes to Dallas, and he was playing great. They were playing great, and he was looking like a legit sidekick for Luka. And then it got to the playoffs, and he was kind of fizzling, and it was looking like Jalen Brunson was the number 2. And then Dinwiddie came out with probably the game of his career, for sure the playoff game of his career in a Game 7. Like, he couldn't miss. Other one, and this really bums me out because he was a borderline superstar. He had the talent, but he had like the worst attitude ever, and that is Isaiah J.R. Rider.
Oh.
And that's what I was going to say before. Like, my pick for the logo is Isaiah Rider doing the East Bay Funk dunk.
East Bay Funk, yep.
Yeah, right.
The first ever to go between the legs.
I was watching that live, and Charles Barkley was like, "Oh my God, that's the best dunk I've ever seen." And the other thing about him was, in that era of the dunk contest, that was in '94, he was the best actual in-game player, not just dunking basketballs. Before him, you're talking D. Brown, Cedric Ceballos, Harold Miner, and then the last one before that was Neek. J.R. Rider, and he should have had a much longer career. He got into, I mean, I'm sure you guys know about a lot of it, but he got into all sorts of off-the-court stuff. When he went to Atlanta, he parked in like maybe not the owner, but like the GM's parking spot. He pretty much bad attituded his way out of Portland, which is why he ended up in Atlanta. Then the same thing in Atlanta. They suspended him. He went to the Lakers and was a role player. Got a ring, but he was not on the active playoff roster. Like, if you see, we've all seen the Allen Iverson, what was it, like a crossover, and then what's his name? Short dude. When he stepped over him, you can see it in the frame of that picture. I have it on a hoodie. There's J.R. Rider just watching the carnage, and he's wearing a suit because he was not active.
Dom, I'm gonna need one of those hoodies, by the way.
I got to find a better one because I was not it's super pixelated.
We'll set you up something. What is those things that you said you're gonna set me up for Celtics?
Oh, the starter jacket.
We'll set up a GoFundMe.
Nice. Will, what do you got, man?
Man, I think Dom's gonna scream saying yes, yes, yes. Mr. Gerald Crash Wallace.
Love Gerald Wallace.
Love Gerald Wallace, man. Gerald Wallace, I was a huge fan of him when he was on the Bobcats, obviously. Grew up after the Hornets left. But I could have done like Baron Davis, but he was the star. Could have done Kemba, but he was the star. Gerald Wallace wasn't talked about. His nickname was Crash. It was for his reckless style of play, frequent injuries. In his first 2 seasons with the Bobcats, he missed 39 games. But Bobcats coach then Bernie Bickerstaff quoted in saying, Gerald can only play one way and be effective. Energy, that is his game. He is one of 3 players, and I am shocked with this company, of Hakeem and David Robinson to average at least 2 steals and 2 blocks per game over a course of a season.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And that guy, when I played him, watched him play, was emphatic dunker. He was, like Bernie Bickerstaff said, he had a lot of energy, and I just loved the guy, how he played. And yeah, Dom, I know Dom has a lot of respect for the guy.
I'm gonna have to put that on the list because I should have got one years ago. But yeah,
the
that
orange one.
Yes.
Yep.
The dude had no regard for his personal. He's diving on the floor for rebounds and loose balls, and they're down 35 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Dude, no, and the sad thing is he went to the Celtics and Nets after that, and the Blazers. Like, he did nothing with those teams, but he gave the heart when he was with the Bobcats. Even though I despise the name Bobcats, I think he was one of the greatest Bobcats. Go ahead, Jacob.
Tom Gugliotta.
Ooh.
And I will.
Wow,
And
nice.
I will tell you this part. There are three, and Dad and I watched basketball together all of our time, throughout the thing. I will give you this. This is the thing. There are three certain NBA teams that Dad would have ever bought if we were in the area. He would have ever bought, in my opinion, season tickets for. The obvious Larry Bird Celtics, okay? The Michael Jordan Bulls, and it wasn't because of Michael Jordan. He just loved that whole team. You know what I'm saying? He loved the whole team, just the whole mixture and everything. And then, and I'm not kidding you, you're going to find this laugh, but I do it. Like the 92-93 Washington Bullets with Wes Unseld. I mean,
he was a hell of a coach, Wes Unseld.
Yeah, Unseld. No, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. You have a mix of a nice shooter, like a couple of nice shooters like Tom Gugliotta and Rex Chapman. You have the toughness with Harvey Grant. You have that smooth rebounder and underneath game with Purvis Ellison, and then you have the speed, which he always loved speed. My dad did with Michael Adams.
Looking at the roster now.
The thing is, my dad would have been cussing if Michael Adams threw up one of those wild ass threes. that missed half the time. Missed everything. But he would have been, pissed him off. But other than that, though, he would have liked that. As I said, those are the only three teams I could think of that he would actually pony up money for, because he loved team ball. He loved watching team ball. He would have the Washington is such a wild card. Those Washington Bullets, that 92-93 team, but just that perfect mixture. They were young. It was a bit of a young. I'm just saying, though. I'm talking about the shooters. Like he would have loved Chapman and Gugliotta. Like I said,
Chapman,
the everything. Then the speed with Michael Adams, and he loved toughness, so he would have liked Harvey Grant. So it's like those are the things I'm talking about. It didn't always have to be good. It didn't always have to be winning. He would have loved the perfect combination. The perfect combination of that thing. And so I'm going to put Gugliotta because he was such a smooth player. And then I also will say J.J. Barea.
Nice.
Jose Juan Barea.
I like J.J. Barea.
Yep.
I did too.
But see, it's like when I bring up these guys, I bring up guys that it's like I'm bringing up guys that just played within a team so well. You know what I'm saying? Just get it with it itself. And it's like, regardless if the team was that good or not.
I would have to add Taishan Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Taishan Prince's shooting stroke, by the way.
I always wanted to see him go somewhere else and be like a number 2 option.
Didn't he leave Detroit for Memphis?
He played on a few teams after he left Detroit.
I think he looked like Chet Holmgren if Chet Holmgren went to the gym.
You know what the funny thing about Taishan Prince is? Like, okay, so he's light-skinned, he's goofy looking, he looks like Curious George, right? You know where Taishan Prince grew up?
Where?
Compton.
Jersey, right?
Compton.
Oh, that's right, yeah. From the West Coast, yeah.
Oh, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Center. Tyson Chandler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that. I thought he was from Jersey for some reason. But yeah, he's from Compton. Dinwiddie's from Compton too, isn't he?
Yeah, right outside of there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's from there. All right. So for the last 5 minutes, we're gonna go to our BasketBros retro game review. And normally we cover actual games that were good, but today we're gonna cover a game that was and that is, as soon as it comes up on my screen here, I don't know if it's on you guys' screen. Here it is. Basketball retro game review, Shaq Fu. So this game came out
What did we do to you?
Listen, I saw this and I was like, you know what? Why don't we switch it up some? Because we're always talking about the NBA Lives and the Jordan versus Birds. But what about a basketball or basketball player associated game that was just downright horrible? And let me tell all the viewers at home, the younger generation that have never. This game was legit one of the. You talking to a homegrown gamer. This is one of the worst games I've ever played. And I'm not just spazzing or anything like that. This is one of the worst. And I'm a side scroller beat 'em up fighting game fan. Biggest on the planet. My favorite game of all time is Street Fighter 2. Period.
Let's just say this.
But when it comes to side scroller beat 'em up, very, 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 very moons from it. I mean, like, and especially because this was at a time period where if a player had their own game, they couldn't be an NBA Jam, which it never made sense to me to this day, but whatever. But it was because of games like this. I could understand Barkley Shut Up and Jam. That was like a great value NBA Jam. Whatever. Okay. At least he's on there actually playing basketball. But Shaq Fu at all. Jordan never appeared on an NBA Jam because of that. Shaq never appeared. Well, he was on the arcade version of NBA Jam, but he didn't appear in any other version because of this. Dom, your thoughts on Shaq Fu, man?
I mean, it's Shaq. I'm not surprised. I'm sitting here trying to think. Although, isn't that the story about Shaq in a movie as a genie that actually never happened? Or Sinbad is the one that never happened?
The one where he was a genie did happen, didn't it?
Kazam, right?
It's just Kazam, yeah.
I was going to say, like, what's worse, Shaq Fu or Kazam? Hard to say. I did like him in Blue Chips, though. But it's just, I mean, it came out in 94, so that was, his second season? Like, that was the peak of popularity of Shaq. I don't blame them for doing it. I don't know that he should have signed off on it. They probably should have. I mean, it was Shaq. He had enough pull. He could have just as easily been an unlockable character in, like, Mortal Kombat. Not Street Fighter, because stay away from that. Please and thank you. I was never that big into, like, the one-on-one fighting games. I like the story mode ones, like Double Dragon, Streets of Rage. But, I mean, most things that Shaq has done outside of basketball have not been so good. Although
he's
a decent rapper.
I was going to say my stepbrother had his album and it wasn't bad, but, like, when I first heard that Fushnikin song with the Shaq verse, I was like, okay, that was pretty good.
You can actually rap.
He was funny in the movie Step Brothers. Grown Ups. He was funny in those movies where he's the cop.
Yeah.
True, but it's not like he's a good actor. It's Shaq playing Shaq. It's 7 foot tall black John Wayne. Let's be honest.
Don't forget the off based on the Superman clone, but it was pretty much a bootleg still.
Oh, I forgot about that. I've been trying to.
So I'm gonna bring up real quick. I'm looking on.
Yeah, people forgot.
Go ahead. Trailers rated it the 4th worst video game in their top 10 best and worst video games. Nintendo Power in 1997 had 12 staff members vote in a list of top 100 games. This list also included 10 worst games of all time, voted by the staff. This was the 3rd worst. The article stated that it was not possible to come up with an.
Where are you, Will?
There you Wikipedia.
Are.
No, you just put your head on the camera.
Oh, sorry, I'm just reading. The same year, Electronic Gaming Monthly ranked it number 10 on their worst games of all time. And so, yeah.
Bring your camera down, Will. You look like Wilson from Home Improvement.
Anyway, Jacob, go ahead.
Okay. The ear-bleeding inducing music was the equivalent of AOC nagging you 24 hours a day about telling her not to talk about her ass. It was absolutely the most awful piece of crap you will ever see in your life. And then they had, like, one move, like a really choppy sidekick that won anything. And, okay, a boss that you couldn't beat for whatever reason. It's just like the whole thing was the concept sounded like you just put it on a napkin while you're taking a shit. It's just like it is literally like we had a game for Hulk Hogan, but he didn't answer his answering machine, so we're gonna give it to Shaq.
That's accurate.
This game is so bad. I can think of another about 3 or 4 horrible things about this game. But it is just ridiculous.
Before the show ends, I need to talk. I know I should say this before we started, but I want to talk to you guys about something after the show.
They made a sequel in 2018, Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn.
Which absolutely no one asked for.
Talk about things
Which absolutely no one but Shaq asked for.
And honestly, I didn't even know the one existed until you told me that.
Now my ears are bleeding.
They should have just remade Burger Time with Shaq instead of the chef.
Well, he'd be eating it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead, Will.
No. I'll just tell you after the show.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we're at the 1 hour and 1 minute mark, so I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to BasketBros. Had a pretty interesting show tonight. Let's see, Jacob. Let people know where we can find you.
Monday nights during the season, Megan Price's NBA Carousel. Tuesdays in this season, the Confidential, which Jordan gets his one and only chance to actually get bragging rights on me this year because the Cubs actually won today. He won and only shot, so I'm going to give it to him. Thursday nights, the Pundits Pundit with you now, Jay, and then we got awesome topics on that. And then I've got a couple others that I'm building on right now that I'm moved in fully. And then Sunday nights here.
I'll go real quick.
Awesome.
Monday night, NBA Carousel. Monday nights, NBA Carousel. Thursday night, Sip-Off. Saturday, Gauntlet occasionally. And then Sunday nights here. Dom.
Same thing, well said, except I'm full-time on the Gauntlet. Also Thursdays when the NFL season starts back up. Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel covering the Lions, of course. I also do a couple other Lions shows during the week, Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays, Fridays. Did one earlier tonight. Kneecap biting with Smoke and Jeremy B. Jay?
Confidential producing on Tuesday nights. Pundit Thursday night. Let's see. Saturday, the Gauntlet, of course, and right here on Sundays. With that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and get with us next week where it will be more the same and better than ever. So for Dom, Will, and Jacob, I'm Denzel Snipes. Peace. See y'all next week.